Hello everyone, I'm Joe Wiz, and most of you have heard about me on ESPN New York, where I host my nationally syndicated sports betting show, The Fine Line, which airs every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. on ESPN New York. Make sure you tune in. In the meantime, we're getting ready for another big weekend of football, and this Saturday marks the first Saturday in November. That's right, October is gone. We are already at week 10 of college football. Where does time go? Heck, on Monday we got college basketball. But we'll save that for another time because we got some marquee matchups for this weekend's college football action. And of course, a big game at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee, where Tennessee will be entertaining Oklahoma. Oklahoma coming off of a loss at home to Mississippi. If you listened to us last week, we had a big play on Mississippi. We took the 6 points. They went into Norman and won outright. Tennessee at home is very tough to beat. They have an explosive offense. They're laying just a field goal here. I lean towards Tennessee to knock off Oklahoma in this matchup. Meanwhile, big matchup, the nation's #1 team at the Horseshoe, where they will entertain Penn State. This game seemed like a marquee matchup when we saw this at the beginning of the season, but what has happened to Penn State? They have lost 4 in a row. They fired their head coach Franklin, and Penn State right now is fighting for their lives just to get a bowl bid. And right now they're not going to beat Ohio State. Ohio State's favored by almost 3 touchdowns. I'm leaning small towards the under in this matchup between Penn State and Ohio State. Ohio State still has one big game left on their schedule, the final game of the season, when they take on their arch rivals, their biggest rival, the Michigan Wolverines. But in the meantime, the Ohio State Buckeye defense has been sensational. I lean towards the under between Penn State and Ohio State. Penn State has just never recovered since that overtime loss to Oregon. Who knows? If they win that game against Oregon, maybe their that emotional drain they had in that game, who knows? Maybe Ron Franklin's still the head coach, and maybe Penn State's still playing for a national championship. But not the case anymore. They're fighting for their bowl lives, and it's not going to happen here. They do have a softer schedule after they lose to Ohio State today, or on Saturday, I should say. Play the under in this matchup. Meanwhile, the Miami Hurricanes take on the SMU Mustangs, and SMU lost last week. A game they were favored in small, but meanwhile Miami, when you take a look at Miami, they had a tough time with Virginia. They rebounded last week, but I'm not sure laying double digits with Miami on the road is a good investment. I lean small towards SMU in this matchup. Follow me on Instagram or click on the link here on my bio to get free updates right here on YouTube. You get free updates every day, 7 days a week. Just go to my bio and follow me or like this video and you'll get free picks 7 days a week. Another marquee matchup takes us to Austin, Texas, where the Texas Longhorns, Arch Manning, takes on Vanderbilt. Texas, I'm not sure. Last week they needed overtime to beat Mississippi State, and we had Mississippi State, the Bulldogs, at home, and they gave Texas all they could handle. Texas needed a miracle win to win. Meanwhile, Vanderbilt has just 1 loss this year. I'm not sure why Texas is favored in this game. I'm going to have a bigger update later on in the week in this game. Remember, follow me here on YouTube. Just go to my bio, click on the bio, and you can get updates every day, 7 days a week. Another marquee matchup takes us to Indiana. How about the state of Indiana? They got to be really happy. They got the Hoosiers and they got the Colts. The Hoosiers could win the national championship, and the Colts, who knows, maybe they could win the Super Bowl. Heck, can anybody stop Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts? We'll talk about that on our NFL show later in the week. But right now, we got the Hoosiers, who are favorites by 3 touchdowns. I don't like laying 3 touchdowns no matter who's playing who. I know Maryland has been struggling. They've lost 3 in a row, but I just can't lay 3 touchdowns here. I'm going to play the over between the Hoosiers and Maryland. My lean small on the over in this matchup. Georgia taking on Florida, another proud program. The Florida Gators, what's happened to them? They got rid of their head coach Napier, and now the Georgia Bulldogs are ranked number 5th in the country. Georgia doesn't scare me like they used to in the old days, but they're still a good team. They travel on the road. I could see this being a low-scoring affair. They call it the world's greatest, biggest cocktail party. It might be for the Georgia Bulldogs, but Florida is in transition right now with their coaching issue, looking for a new head coach. Heck, who knows? Maybe I'll apply for the job. But in the meantime, play under between Georgia and Florida. Another matchup, Texas Tech taking on Kansas State. Last week we had Kansas State. They always beat Kansas, and they went into Kansas and they crushed Kansas. They went into Lawrence. Now they're at home in Manhattan, and they're entertaining Texas Tech. And Texas Tech had lost their quarterback. I'm not sure what to expect with Texas Tech. I lead small towards a home dog with Kansas State in this matchup. Remember, you can go to my YouTube right here, click on the link in my bio, and get free updates. Like this video, and also follow me here on YouTube to get updates every day, 7 days a week. Another marquee matchup takes us to Lincoln, Nebraska, where the Cornhuskers of Nebraska will be entertaining USC. USC, they haven't done well. They failed in their 2 road tests. They lost at Illinois earlier in the season, I should say, and they lost at Notre Dame. Nebraska needs this game big time. I'm not sure if Nebraska could beat USC. I think it could be a close game. I would be interested in taking 7 or more points with Nebraska. Not a big play. I'm going to have more information on this game, but I would lean small towards the Cornhuskers, who does have a good defense. Meanwhile, Georgia Tech taking on NC State. Georgia Tech has had a very soft schedule. And this game here, the line's just 5.5 points. And NC State has been struggling. They've lost like 4 of the last 5 games. Georgia Tech has a very soft schedule. Last week, they beat Syracuse as expected. Georgia Tech has one big game after this, and that's later on in the season, where they'll take on their nemesis, their arch rivals, the Georgia Bulldogs. That will be a big, big game. Right now, when you look at it here, I don't like laying points on the road here. I think this game's going to be close as well. So pay attention to the spread. And listen, we talk about this all the time. Playing teams on the road that are favored is a very risky proposition. I like to play more dogs than I like to play favorites. So generally speaking, they say the house very rarely loses, and that's true. Information is priceless. That's where I come to play. If you just look up stats and trends, I'm probably not the guy for you. I talk about this all the time on my sports show on ESPN New York, which is on every Saturday morning. Tune in. You can download the app, ESPN New York. I'm on the Fine Line every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. You can catch me there, and we give out all the games in football, basketball. I can't wait for college basketball. It starts in just a few days. Next Monday, college basketball starts for real. Let's talk about the last game that we have here in our Week 10 that we're featuring. Cincinnati Bearcats taking on the Utes of Utah. Both of these teams can score points. I mean, Cincinnati scores a lot, and so does Utah. Utah had their bubble burst a couple of weeks ago when they lost to BYU. I lean towards the over in this game here. I like high-scoring affair between Cincinnati and Utah. Now remember, if you want updates to get free picks in all the games, click on the link in my bio and follow me here on YouTube. And also like this video, and you qualify to get a free trial membership. And remember, you can tune into the Fine Line. I'm on every Saturday morning on ESPN New York at 8 a.m. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Joe Wiz Sports. On Instagram, Joe Wiz Sports. And we hope you enjoyed this midweek college football update. And we're going to have an NFL update. So make sure you follow me to get all my top picks in the NFL for this week coming up. Week 9 of the NFL season. Time is flying. Let's make some money. Thanks for tuning in.
Ready for some big winners? Oklahoma travels to Tennessee, plus Vanderbilt takes on Arch Manning in Texas, and USC travels to Lincoln to face Nebraska. Who is on upset alert? Join one of the nation's top sports betting analysts, Joe Wiz, on the Fine Line Saturday at 8 a.m. In the NFL, it's the game of the year when KC travels to Buffalo. Plus, the Wiz talks basketball, hockey, soccer, and horse racing from Del Mar for the Breeders' Cup. Follow the Wiz on Instagram at Joe Wiz Sports. It's the best bet in town. The Fine Line with the Wiz Saturday at 8 a.m. Be ready to win.